All right, hey everybody. Today is the 29th of July, 2015. This is Hump Day Hangouts with Semantic Mastery. This is episode 39. We got the whole crew in the house. How's it going, guys?
Hey guys, it's good to be here.
Once.
Shit, we forgot the order. All right, so Chris is here. What's up, Chris?
Hello.
Hey, all right, we got Hernan.
Hey everybody.
We got Marco.
Yep, I'm here.
And Bradley. How's it going, Bradley?
What's up, guys?
Cool. So I think today we don't really have too many announcements. We're going to kind of upfront tease that we're going to have an announcement. But as of right now, nah, nothing much to report. Hopefully you guys, I know you've gotten the emails, you've seen the video ads crash course. That's something we're checking out. If you haven't yet, we'll put the link in there. But advise checking that out if you're into the YouTube ads. As we said, we're into kind of diversifying and checking it out, ways to get cheap clicks and drive traffic from additional sources. So. Anyways, like I said, we're checking that out. We suggest you do too if you're interested in that. If not, then let's just get rolling on the Hump Day Hangout.
Yeah, I'm really liking YouTube ads. I'm playing around a lot with them and getting better. I find that keyword targeting kind of sucks still with YouTube ads, but when you get into placements, which is like where you can actually tell them which video you want to put your ad on, it's really, really good. I'm getting really good conversions because you can get hyper focused with your targeting. And that video ads crash course that Justin Sardi just put out is dirt cheap. I think it's still under $40. I think it's somewhere around like, I don't know, $30, $35 at the moment. It's dirt cheap to get you started with YouTube ads, but they're really cool. I mean, we're getting clicks for anywhere between like 1 cent to like 15 cents per click, depending on how I've got the campaign set up. But it's really cool. I enjoy it. There's like remarketing and retargeting that you can do with YouTube, which is really cool. If somebody watches a video, you can follow them around anytime they watch another YouTube video that had monetization enabled. You can have a pre-roll ad show, or you can have an in-display ad, which is the ones that show up in search or sometimes in the sidebar. And it's really simple to set up. So anyways, it's really cool. If you guys are interested at all in it, check it out now while it's cheap.
Yeah, and if you guys are interested, I'm also posting the link for our quick video we shot explaining the differences, because we had Justin and Zane on earlier this summer, and they were talking about the boot camp. Which is kind of more in-depth training. So if YouTube ads is still something you want to get into, but you're not wanting the in-depth, hands-on, and more expensive course, then this might be a good way for you to see if this is something or just check it out and see for $40. Just see if it's something that's going to work for your business. So.
Yep. And so the only other announcements were that we're going to have more announcements later.
Yeah. So, that's my really horrible announcement. Hernan, did you have something?
No, yeah, I was about to say that if you feel stuck on YouTube, you can see our YouTube videos popping all over the place. That's because what we're doing is working. It's also working on Facebook because we are targeting. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
it's Bradley's fault at the end of the day. So if you want to file a complaint,
my fault.
Yeah.
I'd like to add for the record that we rock.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Modest too. So all right.
Yeah,
all right, let's go on down. We got some questions to get through. Let's do it. Let's see. Florian, he has been quite active on this event page, so let's get right into it. He says he just landed one big client. The client has 5 local stores regrouped on one website. He got only one domain, and I want to improve his local SEO with the IFTTT method. He says, my question is, does it make sense to create a blog RSS feed or a category feed inside one WordPress blog for each of his local stores, and then create an IFTTT ring for each of his stores? Yeah, I guess if you got it siloed out via categories for each location, you can certainly do that. There's no question. I prefer a subdomain method, but if you've already got it that way, that's fine. You can do that, no doubt. So basically, he wants to create one blog with 5 categories, one for each location. So, yep, that's perfect. Post 1 time a week on each category, and the blog post will be shared via IFTTT on a separate IFTTT ring. Yeah, sure you can, because that way you can theme each one of those separate rings, those branded They're all going to be the same brand, but they're going to have different location data. So, and that's perfectly fine. You can do that. So each of the T1 rings will have different content, but the 5 T1 rings will all be linking back to the home page with the attribution link on each post. Can this cause a penalty or raise a red flag? No, but I would probably set the homepage URL, the homepage link in the attribution back. I'd probably set that to no follow, or a naked URL, or in fact, if you're using the RSS plugin that we have, which we're going to talk about that in a little bit too, you could set a spin tag in there to make it, follow and no follow, so it'll be like at random. That's what I would do. In fact, on the RSS download page, when I've got some example spin tags for the plugin, and I do that anyways, which is to kind of you spin in and out a no follow tag. And if that makes sense, it just makes it more random. But I wouldn't essentially you could even get rid of the homepage link. But I wouldn't really worry about it as long as it's either a naked URL or just the brand term itself, the company name. Then I would leave it like that, and then just make sure that you put the spin syntax in so that it'll at random be follow or no follow. Okay. But now that won't cause any problems. Same question for a big e-commerce website. Another client, I plan on doing a blog with an IFTTT ring for each of his major categories, around 15 big categories. Wow. Again, and the content will be different on each blog feed for each category. Hope that I'm clear enough with my questions. Yeah, you can do that. Marco and I worked on a project before where we did something similar. It was, again, using subdomains, but we did multiple rings for the same business, and we did it that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's pretty powerful. So.
I think that if you have the ability to still set up, I know that on that big client you have the entire 5 stores under one umbrella, which is the blog. But if on the second option, if you can have one category per subdomain, I think that would be the best way to approach that at the end of the day, because you will be also stacking DA on the main domain, and then you can have your WordPress blog posting on each category on a subdomain. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, if you haven't crossed that bridge yet,
right?
Basically, then I would still recommend a subdomain over that. I totally agree with Hernan on that. But if you already have it set up that way, you can. So.
I would also add that if he's doing French, then T1 should be good enough for just about anything that he's after. But if not, then each one of those T1s can be tiered out for more power, and then he's just pushing power from all of those blogs into his tier 2, tier 3, which is just going to bring back more and more and more power.
Yeah. Okay, Estelle says, and this is why, Chris, I was asking you earlier about the plugin. She says, can you tell us when the new RSS plugin will be out? It's ready, correct, guys?
Yep, it's ready.
Okay. All right, it's ready. Estelle, and this is what I never got clarification, so we're going to have like a little in-house conversation here for a moment. It's going out to the masterclass members, but are we selling it otherwise? I really don't know what the strategy is here, guys. I feel ignorant. Sorry. What are we doing with it? I mean, besides, are we making that, like, how are we making it available to people outside of the mastermind is what I'm asking.
Well, for the free
maybe
version,
we need to have a private conversation about that.
Yeah, we'll need to
announce
discuss it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, Estelle, it's ready. So we will get you the details shortly, okay? Maybe this afternoon or this evening. If not this evening, I'll try to get you some details about it tomorrow. I'll message you privately if needed, but it is available now. So
yeah, I was gonna say too, if you want, you can just send in a ticket to support, and we can deal with it that way. That way, we can keep track.
Yep. Okay. Because Mastermind members, they're getting it for sure, but we got to figure out what we're doing for people outside of Mastermind with the plugin, because it is the basically the 2.0 version, which is the premium version. So we got to figure that out, and then we'll make sure we let everybody know. So Brian says, say you add a couple of new channels to your IFTTT profile as Tumbler and Weebly, and you have already uploaded the video to your YouTube channel. Will the video syndicate to the new channel with the new recipes, or do you have to manually put the videos on the channel? So you have to manually do it, or you set up the like recipes, which we've talked about, I think, every week for the last 3 or 4 weeks. But you can set up the recipes in IFTTT now to where when you like a video, it will trigger the syndication again. So that's what I would do, because it will save you some time. Plus, that's helpful and useful going forward in case you need to resyndicate a video for an additional boost. You know, a few weeks down the road, whatever. And all you have to do is like it, and it will trigger the syndication again. So once you attach new channels or once you add new properties to an IFTTT network that have already syndicated the videos originally, then the way to resyndicate them is to like them at that point, and it will syndicate them again. So that's one way that you can do it, or you can do it manually. Entirely up to you. But just hooking up a new property to a pre-existing network does not mean that it's going to syndicate already published content. It doesn't work that way. Okay, there has to be a trigger, and the trigger is the detection of the new item in the feed. So, Brian says, would there be a way to syndicate multiple playlists through the IFTTT network on existing playlists? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Brian.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what that could be.
I don't really understand the question. You syndicate videos, not playlists. So I'm not sure how it works.
You have playlist feeds.
Yeah, but those don't work properly.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. You can't really syndicate like the video that way. Like you don't get the embeds. You'll get a link.
No, you get a link. Yeah.
Yeah, but you won't get the embeds. So I'm not clear on your question, Brian. The next one he says is, what is the best software for video embeds? I thought I got an email saying you were to come out with one. No, we're not coming out with a software. We're developing a service that is going to put all other video embed and ranking services to shame. I can honestly say that with confidence. So,
yeah.
But
that's just something we've been wanting, and then this is going to be easy because we looked around and couldn't find anything good enough.
Yeah, well, there's been a couple recent launches of so-called video ranking services. I'm not naming names, but they're garbage, and we knew we could do better, and so we're developing our own for you guys, and so that's why we had that email, Brian, that you're referencing. That's kind of like we were checking the interest level of our subscribers, and we had an overwhelming response, and so we decided to proceed, and we're already developing that now. It's in progress. So in the weeks to come, you'll have first shot at access to it as one of our subscribers. We're gonna roll it out slowly. There will be like limited openings where we can only take so many people in. So we'll announce that. We'll give everybody a fair shot so they can jump on it when it's available. Then we're going to shut it down and make sure that we can handle the volume. And then we're going to continue to build the network and then open it up again. So there'll be like limited releases, and we're going to have to do that so that we can continue to build it out and make sure that we can handle the volume from all of that. But it'll totally be worth it. Trust me. It'll be very, very powerful. So
yeah, we are pretty advanced and pretty pumped on that, so we are giving that, let's not say priority, but it's one of our upcoming projects for the next weeks.
Yeah, the next several weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
So. John says, when wanting to get a business ranked in multiple locations in the maps section of Google, I understand the best option is to make separate subdomains like location1.rootdomain.com, location2.rootdomain.com, etc. Should each subdomain be treated like a totally separate site with unique content and unique citations? Yes, John. That's exactly right. What I like to do when I do, and that's how I set up all my lead gen sites. I do everything on subdomains with the city name is the subdomain, and then whatever the root domain is typically the brand, whatever the brand is for that business, or that even if it's lead gen and it's my own property, I still give it a branded name, and then I set everything up on subdomains as city subdomains. And then for the content, I have different writers write the content for each subdomain site. That way, it is 100% unique. Now, I know that other people will tell you that you can use the same content. All you got to do is change the city, the geographic modifiers, and that's good enough. That may be true, but I'm just telling you the way I do it. I do unique content on every subdomain, and then yes, that is considered a unique URL in Google's eyes. And you're going to have a separate physical address anyways. The only thing that I would also recommend that you have is a separate phone number. So you have a unique URL, a unique physical address, and a unique phone number. And it can have the same company name. But as long as those other three things are unique, you won't have any problem.
Yeah. You can experiment also a little bit, John, with canonicals. I know that we've been talking a little bit about that earlier with Bradley. So if you're using the same content over and over again and you want to be as white hat as possible, you can still experiment a little bit with canonicals. I know that, for example, some solutions out there like SERPshaker and LeadGadget and whatnot, they have spun content, but in some cases they use the same content over and over again. All it changes is the location, but those are kind of more spammy sites, so to speak. So if you want to have you may want to change the content at the end of the day, not only for Google but for your visitor as well, because depending on your niche and depending on the city, they will have some different pressure points or pain points that you want to address on your content. So it's not only for Google. So if you're starting out and you don't want, and if you want to see if you have a winner, you can experiment a bit with canonicals, and then move on to unique content. That's the way I would do it.
You know, inside the mastermind, we had a training specifically, and John, I know you're a mastermind member, but we had a training about canonicals entirely, a webinar entirely about that. I don't know, probably 2 months ago now, at least, maybe 2.5 months ago. But the only issue I would say with canonicals, though, is that canonicals give credit. It's like an attribution link, but it's essentially saying when you got the two pieces of the same content, then what you want to do is the second version of it, the second republishing of it, should have a canonical tag pointing to the original, and it's saying, yes, this is the same content, give credit over here. And so the credit actually goes to Google, gives the credit to where the canonical is pointing to. And so the issue that I would see with you testing, I mean, and again, without testing it, I don't know, but my assumptions would be that canonicals would be, unless you were canonicalizing to the root domain, like as the master site, I don't know how that would help. And even if it did, I'm still curious as to, wouldn't it just rank what it was pointing to and not the actual post? It
could skew. Yeah, I know what you mean. It could skew the whole experiment. What you could do is to point the canonical to the highest authority city. You know, if you're in California and you have 5 cities, you have one of them will be Los Angeles. You would know that the big city will be the most competitive. So but it will require some experiment because it could skew the entire the rest of the you can hinder the rest of the subdomains from
the problem that I see is, let's say like I'll use Virginia again for example, like Fairfax County, and then there's like Fairfax, which is the most searched keyword, right? But then there's like all the suburbs within Fairfax, and like let's just say Reston is one of them. If you were to canonicalize the Reston page or post over to the Fairfax one, then would the Fairfax page or post rank for the Reston keywords? Right. That's probably what's going to happen. And that's okay, like what Hernan said, if you're pointing the canonical to the top level term, most people search that way anyways. So, you know, fewer people will search for the suburb areas than they do the main city. So you might end up getting more traffic that way, but again, it would be worth testing. It's not something I've tested with. I've said I wanted to do it. One of our other members, Roman, actually pointed out some pretty interesting discoveries that he found with some other companies using canonicals, and I've had it on my to-do list. It's just never, it's one of those things I haven't crossed off the list yet. So, but yeah, absolutely. Just to clarify, John, yeah, you treat each one of those as separate locations, and you buy separate citations, business directory listings for each one of them. Okay. All right, Charles, he is just giving us props. You're welcome, Charles. Thank you for that.
I think it was Carlos, but.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carlos. What did I see, Charles? I guess I just was being a jackass. Sorry, Carlos. But I'll +1 you again if I could. But Florian says, Dan Bradley, just saw the email about Dan Anton today. His release is awesome. Yeah, by the way, Adam, you got that link because that is something that's really cool. Dan Anton and CrowdSearch.me actually just added a new update yesterday that basically allows you to be able to set up geographic searches, so that, in other words, the crowdsource workers that are doing the searches and the clicks, so you get that click through, can be geo-targeted now. You can specify which location they're in. So for local stuff, it should be incredibly powerful. It just was released yesterday, Florian, so I know you asked, I think, in another question, because the credit, it multiplies the credit usage quite a bit, would it be worth it? I'm assuming yes. I'm going to tell you yes, it would be worth it without having tested it yet, only because I know that local searches are so much more effective for local stuff. They're so much more effective when you have local IPs searching for and getting that click through from search from local IPs. That's very, very effective, and it has been for a couple years now. So I haven't tested. Yesterday in the mastermind, we had the mastermind yesterday instead of Thursday this week, and we went over this in depth in the mastermind yesterday, and I've got some tests scheduled, but I haven't. It's only a day old so far, so I can't give you hard data on that. But my assumption would be, and I'm leaning towards absolutely saying that yes, it's worth the extra credit cost to do that. But remember, you need less too, right? So even though it costs more credits to do the localized searches, you need a lot less of them to be just as effective, because they pack so much more punch, because they're more relevant search and clicks, because they're localized. If that makes sense. So, good question though. Let's see. Next question. Oh, we're rolling through these. Wow. Where's all the questions, everybody? Post them in there, or we're going to wrap it up early. I got no problem with that. This is for you guys, though, so make sure you post the questions. All right. Looks like we're about out. Are we really?
Yeah, let's see. I see a question here from Walter White asking, how do I use IFTTT to cook more meth? So I think what you need to do is get Jesse Pinkman, and he will probably hook up maybe a network for you and get that going. So I think that's your best bet.
Hey, Walter. That's pretty cool.
That's funny. All right. Well, hey, shit, guys. We'll give you another minute or two. If you guys got any questions, you can post them. If not, we'll wrap it up. I mean, we're not going to sit here and just talk for the sake of talking. So.
Yep.
We've got a masterclass coming up in about 35 minutes. So.
Weren't we developing? I know that probably we gone through that, and I know that you were referring to the network that we are developing. But weren't we developing a live stream kind of software kind of thing? Marco probably can chime in on this. I thought that we were that could, that could really give us an edge on, versus Wirecast and any other software that's out there right now.
The beta version is supposed to be ready this weekend.
Okay.
But we'll keep you posted.
All right. Cool. The other question, then, since you brought it up, Hernan, is the Wirecast training that we did. That funnel's ready, right?
Yeah. Let me get you the link.
Well, let's drop the link here, then. If anybody wants to...
Here comes some questions.
Yeah, here comes some questions. There you go, guys. See? You threaten to yank the carrot away, and look what happens. Yeah, if you've got that link, let's drop that link, guys. We did a Wirecast webinar. It's an auto webinar that where we went through how to use Wirecast to live stream videos. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything. So if we'll drop that link, if you guys are interested in it, you can check it out. I actually used we kind of did a hybrid between a webinar and training video, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But it's free, so check it out.
Yeah, and that's it's an over-the-shoulder if you want to know how to live stream and everything. It's even got the link to the free version of Wirecast, so it's nuts and bolts, just how to do it, and there you go. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know that we did that because we were having a lot of people asking about it. It's not always easy. In fact, I had some issues, running Wirecast and whatnot with bandwidth, and it's kind of a techie program for video people. So I know that Bradley made a hell of a job explaining the nuts and bolts on how to do it, and how to get high definition videos on your live events, which is the main reason we use it.
Yeah.
Cool. Hernan, did you get that link, or should I grab it? I can put it in there.
Okay, hold on. I'll send it over.
Okay, thanks.
All right, we got a couple others that came in. So let's see. What's your take on G+ and YouTube changes regarding accounts? Yeah, so Google+ is unmarrying itself. It's divorcing itself from YouTube, which is fine. That means YouTube comments are going back. Actually, Google+ is being removed or unmarried from a lot of Google stuff, and it's because there were a lot of people that just weren't happy with it, number one. But Google+ is still alive and well. It's still got a thriving community on its own, and it's still a large part of the search algorithm now. So it's not going anywhere. They're just decoupling it from a lot of their other services, so that it's not required to have a Google+ profile to use other Google properties or other Google services. So that's that's cool too. It just allows people to opt out from having their Google+ page and everything. And what's the difference between YouTube and Google+ really is the comment system, because remember, YouTube had eliminated their own comment system because it went to all Google+ comments, so that if you made a comment on a video, it would be publicly viewable. If it was a public comment, it would be publicly viewable on your profile, your Google+ profile too. And so they're kind of like decoupling that to where now YouTube is going back to its own comment system, which there's some SEO implications there for us as well, because that means that all the comment links and everything are going to be all internal YouTube links. So there's things that we can take advantage of that and exploit that for our own benefit, knowing that. I mean, there was some benefit with Google Plus comments as well that we're kind of losing, but there's going to be other, as some doors close, other doors open. And so once that is fully decoupled and it goes back to YouTube comments, we'll be doing some testing, and we'll share it with you guys. We'll figure out the best way to SEO with the YouTube comments. So I'm not worried about it. You still read articles all the time about, oh, Google Plus is being dismantled and see the end is near and all that, and it's total BS. And I think it's funny because it's the same fearmongers that have always had something against Google Plus, and if they knew how much it was really ingrained into the actual algorithm, they wouldn't be saying that. So, Walter White, who wants to cook some mess, says, all jokes aside, what do you recommend for an experienced SEO to join? Masterclass, budget, value. Well, if you're an experienced SEO, it's Masterclass all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's plain and simple. The master class is really supposed to be for beginners to intermediate level SEOs, and it's like group coaching on a weekly basis, but there's not a lot of like Q&A. There's not a community. The mastermind is like the full-on community. We talk about high-level SEO stuff. There is the community of other peers. We have over 120 members now, and they're all SEO professionals. So we have the conversations basically that go on, the discussions all the time. Everybody helps each other. So if you're an experienced SEO, the way to go is Mastermind.
Yeah.
Plus, you get all of our other products included as part of your membership, where you don't have to pay for anything else. If we have products that go over $300, you get a 30% discount. If they're under $300, you get them included for free. Okay. Okay. Roger says, if I'm getting started with IFTTT, where should I start the training? At the beginning. If you're just getting started, if you have the IFTTT SEO Academy training, then you go through the modules from top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, whatever. It's the same, right? So you just, exactly like you would be reading a book, that's how you go through the modules and go through the training. So the first one is introduction or overview. The second module is updates. I recommend going through the update videos first before you continue going on to any of the other training, because some of the other training, you'll see something on the screen that is no longer what it looks like exactly in the training, but if you've seen the update videos, then you'll know, oh yeah, this has been updated, and it'll remind you to go back and view the update video for that particular lesson. Okay? So just go through it step by step. Please go through all the training before you start posting a bunch of questions about it, because I guarantee you 90% of your questions will be answered if you just go through all of the training. We have a lot of people that join. They start going through the training, and then they start rapid firing off a bunch of questions in this Facebook group of stuff that is already answered in the training, and that gets to be a bit annoying. So, because all I'm going to do is grab the URL of where it's answered in the training and post that as my reply. And so basically it's like, hey, if you would have just gone through the training, your questions would have been answered anyways. So that's my nice way of doing that. Joe Rodriguez says, I just now finished setting up Web 2.0 properties for a branded network following the instructions in the main Semantic Mastery training. My question is, are all the IFTTT recipes you shared in the spreadsheet up to date? Yes, Joe, they are. Are there any updates coming?
Real quick, so I believe this is still the case, right, that when you do, they're updated for members, it's transparent. Whatever recipe you grab is the most up-to-date one.
That's correct, and that's in the actual URL. Or if you create a copy of the IFTTT account workbook template, and then you always make copies of your own copy, then no, they're not going to be updated. You always have to go back into the IFTTT SEO Academy Training Members area and click on the URL there. It's a goo.gl. It's a Google short link, and that one will always be updated. This is that URL right here. And if we go over to the IFTTT recipes, this is the most up to date. And there's notes, guys. Hover over these cells. By the way, if you make a copy of this sheet, these notes will not transfer. And we've had several people that have said, hey, why do you have this? Why do you have that? And I tell them, go back and look at the master file, which is this one, because if you hover over them, there's notes there that explain why they're there, which one is better for which use or which case. So I recommend that you always go back and check the file, the link, that's inside the IFTTT SEO Academy training, even if you've made your own copy, because these are the ones that are going to be the most up to date. Okay, and when changes are made, we might not make changes. Like if changes, because remember, guys, we're dealing with a lot of properties, so sometimes changes are made. Sometimes we're not aware of them. Sometimes it's our students that make us aware of changes that we overlooked. Remember, or our VAs sometimes will say, hey, something's changed, and we try to update the training as quickly as possible. But obviously, there's sometimes a delay, and it's going to just take a couple days. So, but we always try to stay on top of that. Okay. Jeff says, if I'm building social links to my Tier 2 properties, is it best to link to the root of the property or to the embed page or both? It really doesn't matter. I mean, if you're building Tier 2 links, personally the way I do it is I just build them direct to the home page, only because it's much easier to set up. Because every time you post something new to your network, you'd have to set up a new campaign to include that post URL from your Tier 2 networks to get to build additional links to them. So personally, I'm just telling you what I do because it makes it so much easier to manage. I just set up all my campaigns direct to the main URL of each one of the profiles, the network properties. Other people might do other things. If you're only dealing with like one or two networks or something like that, then yeah, you can absolutely build links to the post URLs as well. That would help. It certainly would help. But it's just not efficient use of my time or my team to do that because it would just require so much additional work. So I just build them direct to the homepage.
Right. Ideally, you would like deep linking, but at the end of the day, what matters is that Tier 2 property has high metrics, and usually the way to pump it and the way to having good results with embeds or whatever link you're putting in it is to have it on the homepage, which will have all of the links.
Yeah.
So ideally, if you're on a tight schedule, or if you're having somebody else to do it, then yeah, I mean, you may want to pump the entire structure. But if you're tight on schedule or doing it on your own, or just don't want to lose the time, just do it to the homepage.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is if you pump the homepages, remember most of these sites, like the blog sites, WordPress, blog, or Tumblr, they're going to be like a blog roll. So
right.
They'll paginate it like 10 posts or whatever, however you've got it set up. And so if you're pumping that homepage URL, it's going to benefit from all that additional page authority, all that juice flowing in anyways, until the video paginates. When it gets pushed off that front page, which could be 10 posts later, right? So usually by that time, though, if you've done it right, your video should be ranking anyways, and it's not going to affect it once it pushes off page 1, right? Because it will have acquired its own page authority at by that time.
If you're kind of in the middle, you can also pump the homepage and the categories, for example. That would be like, instead of pumping, I don't know, 20, 30 blog posts, you just need to pump 5 URLs, and they will stay the same because those are permalinks. So for WordPress.com, for example, Tumblr, Blogger, those kind of things. And you can also pump the RSS feed of your blog, which would have the same benefit of having them on the homepage,
Yeah. Also, lastly, part of that, Jeff, is we did a blog post. I don't know why I haven't saved that in my bookmarks yet. I may have. Let me just go check. I did a blog post about automating indexing. Damn it! It looks like I don't have that in my.
Yeah, I'll find it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But there's a way that you can automate deep links and indexing. Well, especially if you're using Backlinks Indexer, which is Dan Anton's service, that creates Web 2 links as their indexing method. So what you can do is you can set up Backlink Commando, which is a plugin on your WordPress site, or even just you can just have a dummy WordPress site that you use specifically for this method, and you install Backlink Commando, the plugin, and then you have to have a subscription with Backlinks Indexer as well. And then you can actually extract all of the post URLs on autopilot. It's 100% hands-free from all your Web 2.0 accounts in Tier 1 and Tier 2, and it will automatically submit those individual post URLs to Backlinks Indexers, which builds Web 2.0 links to them anyways, and status updates and things like that. So that's what I do for my networks. Everything runs through. Every single one of my network setups have a Backlink Commando, like, control panel where I have all of the Web 2 URLs, the RSS URLs, where it will automatically extract the post URLs and submit them to Backlinks Indexer, and it really does have an effect. And what's cool about that is you can actually boost. There's settings inside the Backlink Commando plugin that where you can set it up to where like every 30 days or every 45 days, whatever settings you want, it will actually go back and repool and reboost those post URLs again. So send them back to the indexers again. So it's a way to not only get deep links and links built, links built to your post URLs, but it's also a good way to keep new links being built to that over time, so that it helps you to maintain your rankings as well. So it's a very, very good system. It's just a matter of, I think, it's like $47 or something for the plugin, and then your backlinks indexer accounts, which I think you can get for like $17 a month or $27 a month, depending on your usage. And it's totally worth it because it automates so much of the work for you.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that you need to be building new backlinks, because sometimes people lost rankings not because they are being penalized or they're being targeted, but for link loss. And we need to have that in mind, whether you're using FCS or GSA or whatever automation tool. Even for manual accounts, you will lose a few, so you will need to make sure that your structure is not being eroded, by time or by closing platforms, whatever. So it's a good idea to repump your networks pretty much every month, to make sure that the link loss and the indexing of your backlinks still keeps up to date.
And Adam, you found it? Yeah, I'm going to bookmark that right now, because this happens about once every couple weeks. So I'm going to actually bookmark it while I'm thinking about it. Put this right there. All right, next one. Let's see. Jacob says, could you speak to the effects of adding closed captions in YouTube videos and the effects of doing so, has on rankings? Yeah, it's a positive ranking signal. Transcriptions and closed captions, they're kind of like one and the same. They're a setting in YouTube. I used to do that a lot when I did a lot less videos, because it does absolutely have a ranking effect if you have properly transcribed videos with the keywords present, and then you upload those as the transcription, and then it will turn to closed captions as well. There is a ranking benefit. You have to consider the time, though, that it takes to do that. I mean, if you've got a VA or somebody doing that for you, that's great. But personally, like, I just don't mess with that anymore, only because the amount of time that it takes to do that, and I just, I've got so many automated systems in place that rank the videos anyways, I don't need it. But it does certainly have an effect on it. And I know that the auto transcription, the auto captions or whatever of YouTube have gotten a lot better. So they don't have near as many like grammatical errors and spelling mistakes as they did. It's still not perfect, but it's a lot better than it used to be. And there's also, guys, there's services. Let's see, where would they be? There's some services here. I'll have to pull them up, but there's some services that you can use that actually do the transcriptions. Like, they're specifically for, I'm looking for one now. But they do the YouTube captions. There's a couple of them out there that do that. They're YouTube captions, and they're dirt cheap. And you can just you submit your URL. They do the captions for you, and then they send you the text file back, and then all you do is upload it. And if you're going to be doing that as a ranking boost, like if you got a stubborn video that's not, you're having trouble with, that's something that you can do to give it a little extra nudge. And again, I just don't recommend you do that yourself. Just pay a buck or $2 or $3 or whatever it is to have somebody else do it, and then just upload it, and that's it. You're done. Okay. John says, is there a video I can watch to learn how to silo a website? Go to YouTube and search for it. I'm sure there are. Just go to YouTube and search for it. I mean, do we have one? Yeah, we do, but it's like mastermind level stuff. I don't think we have anything. I'm sure we do, actually. Yeah, we do. I know we do.
The blog, maybe?
As a matter of fact, I do have some.
No, we have a video that shows how to silo.
I know we do, and I know I did a couple of them.
Yeah, I've got it. So one sec, I'll pop it in.
Yeah, because there was simple silo and complex silo structures. Remember that? There was 2 separate videos.
Ooh, maybe not then. I'm seeing something else. So we'll find it. If somebody's got it, let us know. I'll keep looking for it.
Yeah, I just can't remember if it was on our channel or if it was on my channel. So I'll look for it real quick. Just give me a second. That's a valid question. Other people will benefit from that as well. So just look for simple. Are you on our channel or?
I'm just searching YouTube right now.
Okay, simple. Well, yeah, it might be unlisted though.
Gotcha.
I think we briefly touched on it on one of the Hump Hangouts, so probably searching on on the
Yeah,
on
it's
one
probably going to be. It's probably in my own channel. That's probably why I'm not seeing it. Just give me a second. I think it'll be worth looking. Yeah, here it is. It's in my channel. So here's one URL. I'll pause it and then I'll drop it on the page just a moment. The other one was complex. There's two main silo structure types: simple and complex. That depends on the hierarchy of your URL structure, and I talk about both of these in detail. And I forgot about these until you reminded me. What is his name? John Messenger. So John, I'm going to post these up here. See, that wasn't so bad, was it? Here's simple. This will be complex. And this one, what? This one's about 10 minutes long. The other one's, I think, about 18 minutes long, and that goes into detail about how to silo WordPress and some like a free tool that you can use by Network Empire. That's a silo plugin that will help you to make it a lot easier to silo the site out. So there you go. Ask and ye shall receive. All right. Joe says, when creating, posting YouTube videos, what's the best way to use keywords? In the title tag, number one, at least once in the video description. You do not need to stuff anymore, guys. And also in the tags. And also in your tags, when you're setting up your tags for your videos, pay attention to the suggested tags, because those are semantic tags. Very important that you use those because they're very, very powerful. So if they don't match up or you're unsure about a tag, then don't use it, because, like, for example, if you're doing local stuff, sometimes there's cities or census designated areas or whatever, things like that, that are, you're not sure if it's actually talking about your specific location, then don't use those, because if it's wrong, it's going to skew your results. Like, it'll, negatively affect your ability to rank. So, but if you know for sure, like, for example, state or big cities, things like that, that are unique names, then absolutely use those types of tags. Industry-related keywords, that sort of stuff. So those semantic tags are very powerful. But that's pretty much it. I mean, the title tag is the most important place for the keyword. And then in the video description, you want to have it at least once, but again, you don't need to stuff. I typically put the keyword or a variation of the keyword at the very top of the description, along with the video URL and a phone number. Oh, I'm sorry, the URL to where I want somebody to click, and also a phone number, especially for like local stuff. And that's usually at the very top of the description. And then somewhere within the content body of the description, I put the keyword once again, and I use multiple variations of it as well. It's called co-occurring keywords. That's really important. Okay. Torrin says, I've been getting emails about buddywire as an easy way to create syndwire accounts. I don't have syndwire. Do you see any reason to use buddy syndwire combo? Buddy synd combo, or is IFTTT as effective? Okay, that's a good question, Torrin. As far as the buddy, like the account creator thing, I know there's some guys that in like the Syndwire Black group, which is in Facebook, that creates, I guess Syndwire Buddy like creates accounts and stuff like that, and that's fine if you want to use something like that for like creating accounts. That's no problem. The way that we teach how to set up accounts, though, they need to be completely filled out, and it's a manual process. You can create the accounts using tools if you want. That's fine. But you still have to go into the accounts afterwards and complete the profiles and then interlink them properly with each other, so you're linking the same profile, like all the different properties for the same profile together, if that makes sense. That's what gives our networks the power that it does. Okay, and it's the semantic relationship that it creates, which is very, very important going forward. So yep. There's still a manual aspect to it that those tools will not accomplish.
Right. You can use, if you're familiar with FCS account creators, some of them will be created. You can also go to Fiverr and get them created.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, you'll still need to go in and to manually update them, and make them look good and whatnot. So we start the process with our VAs. We have trained VAs to do that from the ground up, from right. from the very IP that creates the account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what makes them stick longer and so powerful, and they look really legit. So that's what's giving us the edge.
As far as buddywire and syndwire combo or as IFTTT as effective, I'm certainly going to be partial to our own product, like our own methodology. But I use Syndwire also. Full transparency, I also have Syndwire. I use it as a tier 2 linking tool only, though. Like, I'll use it for video embeds. That's fine to use it as an additional embed tool. You know, it's not going to hurt anything there. But I don't use Syndwire to do any linking to my money sites, like my self-hosted websites. I'll use it as a tier 2 tool only. There's some issues I have with it. It's a good tool. No, there's no question. I'm not knocking Syndwire at all because I have it and I use it myself. I have 1,300 accounts inside of Syndwire, so I do use it. But I use it specifically as a tier 2 thing. What we do with our IFTTT networks is 100% automated. Requires no manual work on your end other than the setup port. And even then, the setup portion, you don't need. You can hire that out. You can outsource it, or you can hire us to do it. And then it's completely hands-off. And then all you need to do is upload content to your channel or to your money site, and the networks take care of themselves. Okay? Every now and then you have to go in and make updates when recipes change and stuff, but that's the same for anything. So the IFTTT strategy is certainly hands-off. It's my preferred method. It also builds authority and kind of that, like I said, that semantic relationship. That's something that we engineered it that way so that it would do that, and it works really well. Okay, Brian's asking, he's going to be talking about the VidPenguin thing. Have you done any testing on multiple URLs for one YouTube video? Saw a Joe Troyer video on 22 variation URLs. Guys, I've got some strong opinions about that. That VidPenguin tool, I'm not saying anything bad about those guys because the concept is cool. You can get a whole bunch of different video, like URLs from the same video. There's multiple versions. I think it's all the way up to like in the 40s. Marco, you can talk about that, right? It's like 40-some.
We have nearly We've discovered nearly 5,000 variations
for Google properties in total.
For YouTube.
Really?
For YouTube, Vimeo, but YouTube alone is around, I don't know, it's over 4,000 that we found.
Yeah. Yeah, and it creates variations of the URLs, which is good in a way. I think there's a lot of overhype on that right now. As far as like the effectiveness of it, there are reasons why you would want to use different URLs for different things, especially if you're getting in some spammy stuff. There's reasons why you want to use those type of URLs because you can protect the sites. If you're doing spammy stuff, and we can't get into that right now. Anyways, we're almost out of time, but yes, there is a benefit to using multiple URLs for one YouTube video. However, I know that like some of the things that are being pushed right now and some of the teachings about how effective they are, they're missing the point, in my opinion. And we're going to be talking all like our upcoming Rank Your or RYS Academy, which is coming out next month and next week actually. Are we on target for next week, by the way?
We are exactly on target. All of the training is in the can, man.
Oh,
we're ready to go.
Did I just hear Adam say I wasn't supposed to announce that?
No, we'll have an announcement about announcement.
That's the tease.
Okay.
Oops.
Well, RYS Academy goes into like as far down the rabbit hole as you could imagine about URL variations and why they're effective and how to use them. All right, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Steve says, Mastermind is awesome. Best membership I've ever been in. I'm going to +1 that, Steve. Thanks, recommend Steve. All those others. Go +1 his comment.
Yeah. Thanks.
Vote that one up. Scott says, have you tried the new browser called BrowseSEO or something like that? It helps all accounts profiles separate and matched to the same proxy. No, I haven't. I saw somebody post that. It might have even been you, Scott. Somebody post that in one of our communities. Might have even been the Mastermind community. I haven't had a chance to check into it, though. BrowseSEO. Guys, put that on the to-do list to check out, please. I'd like to look into that. It sounds interesting. We can go through a few more questions. We're almost done anyways, looks like. Okay, cool. You guys stepped up to the plate, man.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to have to shut it down, and look, we've been hammered with questions.
Don't be shy.
Florian says, when interlinking the social accounts on IFTTT, why not using URL shortener for all profiles in order to stock DA? You must mean stack DA even more. You can, Florian. There's no reason you can't. Feel free to do so. You can use goo.gl because those are white hat links. What you're doing there is white hat, and you can stack some of that domain authority right from Google that way. There's absolutely you can do that. He also says, I have an issue with rebelmouse. It doesn't post on my blog post because of duplicate content. How to deal with that? There's a setting, Florian, inside of rebelmouse that you can go in and turn that filter off. And that if you have the IFTTT SEO Academy training inside the live stream Academy training, which is one of the bonuses, and the rebelmouse training, that the module over the video for rebelmouse, I point out exactly where to do that. But you're right. There, by default, there is a filter set, and it's kind of hard to find. In fact, it's not kind of, it is hard to find. But once you find that filter setting, and it's not, like I said, it's not easy to locate, but once you locate that filter setting, you turn it off, and you can post, it will post everything. Okay, and again, that's inside the Livestream Academy training. Joe says, what is the focus of the YouTube silo course, and how does it tie in with the main IFTTT training? Well, it's how to silo YouTube channels, Joe. It's how you can add the power of silo architecture to a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
okay?
so you can think of that as the on-site, so it's, or sorry, on-site for YouTube. Partially on-site, but for the siloing.
It is. It's about using playlists to silo your YouTube channel, just like you would silo a website. Jacob says he's been using SpeechPad. Yeah, that's what I use too, Jacob. But there, what I'm saying for transcriptions, but there are some services that are specific to YouTube captions, is what I meant, Jacob. Again, I'll have to pull the book. They're in my bookmarks somewhere, but I got so many damn bookmarks, like half of them get lost. So if I can find them and post them here later, I will. But there are some services that do specifically just YouTube captions. I know SpeechPad is a great service. That's what I use for my transcriptions as well. Which, guys, by the way, if you're doing like local videos and stuff, you know, getting transcriptions of those videos and then putting them on the blog posts with, you know, where you have them on your site, that helps quite a bit for SEO. Just using the transcription as the written content, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it will allow you to have several other traffic and backlinks points. For example, if you turn that transcription into a PDF, you can upload to PDF directories.
Google Drive.
Yeah, Google Drive. You can strip the audio from the video and upload that as a podcast.
Yep.
So you can do a lot of stuff when doing videos that will replicate, and that's, you know, that's not duplicate content because it's different platforms, and you can leverage on the traffic that those platforms has and from the links themselves.
Yep. Artigene says, "Why no chat here? It looks like everyone else is chatting."
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you're viewing this on the YouTube page.
Yeah, if you're viewing it on YouTube, that's why we always push everybody to the event page, the Google Plus event page, specifically for that reason, guys. I don't even check it on YouTube, so. Jason is the moderator and owner of Syndwire Black. He's a hell of a good guy. Jason says Syndwire Buddy is a great, but nothing beats manual. SWB new release handles IFTTT well, but you have to manually make them look natural. Mass account creators are just not there yet. +1 that, Jason. I totally agree with that. Joe says, what is the best tool, method, strategy to blast backlinks to your Web 2.0 sites? Personally, I prefer SCS Networker and GSA combo as a 1-2 punch. That's what we do with our, you know, we have a team that does that for us, and we also offer that at times. Right now, the doors are closed, but we offer that as a service as well. And so that's what I recommend. But pretty much any tool will do it.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind that, like, I don't recommend that you use straight spam tools like GSA or SE Nuke or Magic Submitter direct to your IFTTT Web 2.0 properties if it's just a Tier 2 link. In other words, if you're doing the IFTTT networks for a money site where you're syndicating your blog content instead of YouTube to, like, for example, your Tier 1 network, I don't recommend spamming direct, like, spam tool links to your Tier 1 network properties, because that's only 2 hops away from your money site instead of, and I always try to keep spam 3 hops away from my money site. So there's 2 layers of buffer sites between the pure spam and my money site.
Yeah, and have in mind, Joe, that IFTTT, your Tier 1 properties, if they are correctly made, they can also rank in Google for one, and on the other hand, they can also become landing pages for your business.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to treat them really well, you know, as you would treat your money site. In some cases, I'd like to treat them really well because they become part of your brand, your golden frame, you know. So that's for once. And there are some other strategies like FCS, for example, which Bradley mentioned. I know that there are some 5 network FBN. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but there are like PBN. They are more like spammy PBN runs for, I don't know, 200 PBN runs for $10 or something like that. That's usually achieved with 5 network, but I would suggest that you use a 301 behind that. You know, we'll be doing some SEO solutions as well, but I think that will come in handy when we deliver the content for RYS, because we are doing some really neat link building scheme that they are powerful, but they are also safe.
Yeah.
So,
and they're trust flow manipulation.
Yep.
Which is incredible. All right, we've only got another minute or two. So I'm going to just answer these last couple questions very quickly. Joe says there used to be a video spinner tool, but I don't know if it's still around. What's your favorite tool for creating lots of videos these days? Well, I use Hangout Millionaire. But I know that Chris Greenhow is a mastermind member, and a couple others in our mastermind have a tool that is like a one-time fee, I think, like $37 or something. I can't remember the name of it, guys. If you know what I'm talking about, that will do like video, like create multiple versions of a video very quickly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I can't.
It's in the mastermind, but I'd have to dig for it to find it. But it's a link that does that, Joe. If we can find it and we post it on this later, we will. It's an inexpensive tool that will do exactly what you're asking about. And some of the guys in the mastermind are using it and they like it. Sergey did a Broke Man's Hangout Millionaire, right? Didn't he do a post on that? A Broke Man's Hangout Millionaire?
Yeah, he did. It was great.
Remember?
Yes, it was fabulous.
Yeah, it was fabulous. So maybe if we can find the link in there to that tool that he used for that, we can drop that on this page. If somebody can dig that up, please. Yep. And we're about to wrap it up. But Owen says, does the links package, is that page still live? I thought we shut it down.
No, we didn't.
Well, shit, we need to shut that down, man. Honestly, right now we can't really, we have to shut that down. Maybe we go and just, I don't know, we do link building stuff, guys, for the FCS network or GSA links to the IFTTT networks, but right now we can't take any new orders. So if you place an order, we're going to probably have to refund it because honestly we can't take any more orders at the moment. I thought we had that page down, but we must have just taken it off the forums. Is that right, Hernan?
Yeah, we didn't agree on that, but anyways, yeah, I can shut it down.
Yeah, we need to just turn that page, or just like turn the Wootafu form off for now or something. Okay. You guys, when we can open the doors back up again for that, we'll make sure we let you guys know. But right now we just can't take. We got to use our resources somewhere else at the moment for the Embed network. So, all right, looks like that's it, guys. We're gonna wrap it up. Everybody that is in masterclass, we will see you in about 3 minutes, and everyone else, we'll see you on Hump Day Hangouts next week. So have a good week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.